Ticats have fired head coach George Cortez. I'm here with Spec columnist Steve Milton. And Steve, I was surprised by the news. Were you surprised?
I was shocked, given the entrenched contract that he had, and the idea that they had a plan for where George was going to fit into this organization, which was to eventually to really control player personnel, generally being the general manager, and may not have even been head coach by the end of his 4 years, but to bite the bullet there. I think Scott Mitchell recognized there was a mistake there, and then I think he tried to make sure he didn't compound the mistake by sticking with it. And it must have been very difficult for him to walk into Bob Young and say, you're going to eat an awful lot of money over the next 3 years if you agree with what I'm about to do.
So we're talking about Ticat President Scott Mitchell, who made the decision to get rid of George Cortez along with Bob Young, and now is charged with the job of replacing Cortez. What do you think the Ticats are going to do?
I don't really know. They have some really good people and player personnel behind the scenes who eventually might graduate into a GM type of role. And I'm thinking primarily of Danny McManus and Sean Burke. They're both younger guys. So if you bring in a younger guy, let's say Dwayne Ford, that kind of thing, well, you lose them eventually because the ceiling now is there. In that Dwayne Ford is about the same age as those guys. Or not much older in any case. Do you get an intern guy in there? Do you get somebody in to sort of help it through? Do you do it by management, by committee? I think Scott Mitchell has something in mind here, but I don't know what that is. I'm not privy to it at all. But there are a lot of different scenarios, and they're completely different if you look at it. Do you bring in a veteran guy? Is this really a rebuilding year from top to bottom? It's starting to look like it. Do you bring in a veteran guy? There aren't too many around, and if you bring in the veteran guy, you're running into the same situation as before. The problem is now you're also going against Ottawa. That you're going to have two different types of general managers, I think. You're looking at if Ticats are rebuilding, though, maybe Ottawa and them are going after the same GM, and I think you got to do it in a hurry.
We're now in a situation where the Ticats could be entering into yet another rebuilding phase. Who is responsible for what's going on here?
Well, the man who says he is, and who has already said that, and I got to give Scott Mitchell credit there. Although when you say I take responsibility, I'm not sure that he would consider that the same as taking the blame. But you have to blame Scott, and I think he would fess up to that too. If the buck stops at his desk, and it's supposed to in all 6 or 7 of the companies that he's been appointed to run by Bob Young, then he has to take the blame. I mean, there's nuances. There's all kinds of nuances to this, but ultimately, if you just want a simple answer, Scott has to take that blame.
Make sure you check out Scratching Post blog for all the up-to-the-minute news on Ticat developments, and the Spectator will have stuff from me and Steve in the coming days about the situation in Ticat land. Reporting for the Hamilton Spectator with Steve Milton, I'm Drew Edwards.